This is the Canon 18-45 and this is the Sigma 18-50. Both of these have very similar focal distances, almost identical. However, each one has separate features that set them apart. So in this video, I want to talk about each one of these lenses, the pros, the cons, and ultimately help you decide which one makes more sense for you. So starting off, let's talk about price. Starting off with the Sigma lens, this was just released on the Canon RF mount system. So this lens is brand new. You're not gonna find any refurbished or used lenses for a while. But this lens, if you're gonna buy it, most likely you're gonna buy it brand new and it's gonna cost you about $600. The Canon lens, on the other hand, this is actually a kit lens. So odds are if you buy a brand new Canon R50 or R10, it's going to come on that camera. However, if you're just buying the camera body only and you're looking for a lens and you wanna pick up this lens, it's gonna cost you around $300 brand new. This lens has been out for a while and there are people selling them used and refurbished online. I checked, they're about a little under $200. So as far as prices go, the Canon lens is going to be about 2 to 3 times cheaper than the Sigma lens. So right off the bat, the Canon gets a check mark as far as price goes. So up next, let's talk about size. Both of these lenses are very small and portable. However, the Canon lens is about half the size of the Sigma lens. So if you're looking for the ultimate smallest lens possible, obviously the Canon lens is going to get another check mark for compact size. Now up next, image stabilization. The Canon lens does have image stabilization, the Sigma does not. So if you're looking for something that's going to get you that image stabilization, get your video looking a little bit smoother, obviously the Canon is going to have that where the Sigma doesn't. So right off the bat, we have 3 features that make the Canon lens seem like the better deal. Smaller, better price, and image stabilization. Why is the Sigma lens double or triple the price? Well, the next feature we're going to talk about is aperture. And that's where the Sigma lens absolutely blows the kit lens out of the water. And that is because this has an aperture of f2.8, and that is a constant aperture. So if you're at 18 millimeters, you can have it at f2.8. If you zoom into 50 millimeters, 2.8, and anywhere in between. Now, compared to the kit lens, this has a variable aperture. So if you're at 18 millimeters, you can have a maximum aperture of f4.5, not as good as the Sigma lens. But then if you zoom into 45 millimeters, it has a maximum aperture of 6.3. And since that's a variable aperture, if you're zooming in and out, your settings are going to change because that aperture is not going to be able to stay the same as you're zooming in and out. So that is a feature that the Sigma absolutely wins on, and a reason in and of itself to upgrade to the Sigma lens. So if you're new to photography and you don't really understand why aperture is so important, having a wider aperture, a faster aperture, means that you're going to get better, blurrier background, and it's going to perform better in low light. Another big feature that the Sigma wins on is build quality. The Canon lens does feel very cheap and plasticky, doesn't feel very premium, it feels like a kit lens. The Sigma lens feels a lot better quality, the rubber zoom rings feel better, and the overall just metal build quality feels a lot more premium, and I've always been really impressed with Sigma's lenses. So this one, of course, has that same great build quality. Third, this is a small one, but this Canon lens does not come with a lens hood. However, the Sigma lens does. And that's great that they include that. A lens hood is going to be able to block out any lens flares, making sure that your images outdoors or anywhere where you have a light is not going to affect the overall image quality. So having a lens hood is not, one of the groundbreaking features why you'd want to choose one or the other. You can get a lens hood for the Canon lens, but that is included with the Sigma lens. It's not with the Canon lens. So overall, going over the features one more time, the Canon wins on size, price, and the image stabilization. The Sigma lens wins on the constant aperture, the build quality, and the lens hood. So now let's talk about some photo comparisons. I did take the Canon 18-45 and the Sigma 18-50 outside, set up a tripod, and I took 2 sample photos. You'll see them side by side, and what you mainly can understand through these sample photos, they're not super technical. That's not how I typically do my reviews. I know some people will definitely go into zooming in really close and looking at each pixel and kind of deciding which one's better. But for me, I just want to know what the practical comparison side by side is. And what I've found is the Sigma has been able to get you that more separated, blurry background, making your subjects stand out more. I did do a comparison as the sun was setting, and each one of these sets of photos was getting a little bit darker and darker, and the Sigma lens held up a lot better in the low light, where the Canon lens was just, I had to crank the ISO, and that adds a lot of grain to your photos. So as far as the photo comparison, I think you can see in those sample photos that the Sigma lens just has that edge, where the Canon lens, I think, performed well. It just isn't as good as far as quality and that separated background and the performance in low light. So as far as the image quality, I think the Sigma wins, obviously, hands down. It is the better lens as far as image quality. Now, the other thing that's interesting, I did go outside and do some vlog comparisons. And having image stabilization, you would think that this Canon lens would just be so much smoother. But in fact, I have some comparisons side by side here, and I don't really think that the Canon lens is super smooth. It does, I think, take the little bit of the edge off, but I don't think that the Sigma footage is unusable since it doesn't have image stabilization. Now, I will say, and as far as the comparison, I do actually really like what the Sigma was producing more than the Canon lens, because the background's just a little bit blurrier and it makes you just look way more professional, makes you stand out in the background a little bit more blurry. So I feel like overall, the image quality in both the photo and video comparisons, I preferred the Sigma footage. So overall, to wrap up the video, you have two great lenses. One is not going to cost you a lot, it's going to be super portable, and it has that little bit of image stabilization to take the edge off. The other one is a $600 lens. It's going to cost you a little bit more money, but the build quality is really nice. It comes with that lens hood, and it has that constant aperture of f2.8 that's going to get you much more professional results and giving you a lot more flexibility when you're out and about. So both of these lenses are really good, but I think if you're looking for something, just something easy, cheap, portable, I would say if you're going to be doing vlogging, this kit lens is going to be doing a really good job, the Canon 18-45. I've used it for a while, but personally, ever since I got the Sigma 18-50, this has been my preferred lens because it is just a little bit more professional, and it has, overall better quality and image and build quality, and I've just preferred this lens so much more over the kit lens. So obviously, I have both of these. I'm going to use the Sigma lens. But what do you guys think? Is it worth the $600 to go to the 18-50, or are you going to be sticking with the kit lens? If you guys have any comments or questions at all, leave them in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like. And if you want to see other budget gear reviews, consider subscribing. And if you do, I'll catch you in the next video.